Hello, my name is Sabine and I would like to show you today how to make this zigzag funful card. For this card I used the really pretty Paper Rose Poinsettia Garden paper pad and some of our Emily Moore Designs products to cut out these beautiful ornaments and some other details for the card. For the card I make today, I'm going to use the Paper Rose White Christmas Basics with these pretty blues and grays and nature designs. To start, we are using a A2 card base and create this zigzag. For that, I basically cut down another A2 card base and mark on one end 1/2 inch. I take the other end and score at 1/2 inch for the flap to attach it, and then cut an angle from that fold to the 1/2 inch mark at the other end. Then I also score at 4 inches and at 7.5 inches. And after folding everything down to a zigzag, this part is already done. To make it easier to hide the flap, I will cut a little bit of an angle on the flap and then attach it to the liner that's the same size as the A2 card base, 4.25 by 5.5 inches. And that just used to hide the flap. And then I have another liner like this for the inside of the card to make it a little more cohesive. And now I'm starting with the fun part, decorating it. For this, I choose a pattern for the large ornament. I need only one of the large ones for the inside of the card, and I need only one of the medium ornaments for the front of the card. And then I will have to cut out a bunch of the little ornaments to decorate the rest of the card. Altogether, I cut out 8 small ornaments. 6 will be used for the zigzag and 2 more for the front of the card. And now I'm creating those little toppers. For that I put some Luna Paste silver lining on paper from Simon Hurley, and use the ornaments that come in the die set, the ornament dies. And once you cut those out, have those out of the die, you can barely tell the difference because the Luna Paste really makes it look like metal and it's really pretty. Now I need to attach all the ornament toppers to the ornaments. And the big one, and here's the little one. And with some video magic, isn't it pretty? All of them done. Now we can start to put them on the card. Before we do that, we want to cut out some more pieces we need to line the front and the inside of the card. I use the A2 card liner from our Emily Moore Designs Card Sentiments die set. It is slightly smaller than an A2 card, which is really nice because that way you see some of the paper around it that's underneath, and it gives it a little more depth. And then I also cut out a shadow for the big ornament to give that a little more texture. And these banners from our Emily Moore Designs Decorative Sentiment dies. I cut 2 small banners and one of the large banners to create the banner for the season's greetings word dies I will be using later. I also need to cut out the for you for the front of the card for the little ornament on the zigzag. I'm using some adhesive sheets here on the back of the paper to make it easier to attach them. This For You word die is also one of our Emily Moore Designs products. And in that set, you will get the For You in the small size I'm using here, and in a larger size, which is nice for the front of an A2 card, for example. Yeah, just attaching the shadow to the large ornament and put together the banner. I cut the ends of the two smaller sized ones, and then I lay them parallel with about half an inch in between. And then I use a longer one and place it from the upper corner of the upper banner to the lower corner of the lower banner. And once the glue is dry, I'm just cutting these ends off and have my little banner done. Yeah, I'm attaching the season's greetings I cut out. This word die comes from Sizzix. And now the only thing that's left is cutting out these background pieces for the zigzag fold. That's just going to give it a little more texture and stability. For that, I marked on the back of the pattern paper, I picked the size of the zigzag fold, and then I just went ahead and trimmed off about 1/8 of an inch on the bottom and 1/8 of an inch on one side of the piece, each piece, just to not touch the folds directly, because that's going to make it hard to fold. If there's a little space in between those pieces, that makes it easier to fold it. And the little piece is a little bit off. If you find out that you're off a little, it's a little too big, then just trim it down to the right size, and this is done. And now we can start attaching our decorative pieces. The liner for the front, and then I'm placing the medium size ornament and the two small ones I cut out for the front. And once I figured out the perfect placement, I just take one after the other and attach them to the card and cut the pieces that stick out of. And then I take the small ones for the zigzag fold, where I have basically two of each, and attach them to the fold. Now this is a little trick here I'm using to have the glue only where the paper is. I'm marking the line of the paper with some mint tape, and then I turn it around. I can see where I need to put the glue. Here's our little For You. And we have one side done of each ornament, and now I attach the other side. I chose to put the topper on the second side on afterwards, just so I have a perfect placement here. That I found it was easier for me. If you like to attach the topper to the second one before putting the ornament on the card, then feel free to do that. That's completely up to you. And just like that. Oh, one more topper here. Our card front is decorated. Now we can go to the inside of the card. And I'm attaching the A2 liner with a little house on it. I love that there's so much space to put some handwriting on the card, and it still looks like a full page design. And here's our large ornament. That's a little big for the A2 card, but that's okay. We just cut off that little piece down there that's sticking out. And then find a good spot for our banner with the season's greetings on it. I use some thin square, thin 3D foam squares to give it a little bit of depth and extra texture. And then the inside of the card is done. Now for the back of the card, it's going to be hard to get it into any stamping tool. So I chose to cut out the large frame from our decorative sentiment die set. It has a really pretty decorative embossing on the outside. And I stamped it with Handmade by Me with Love for You. Now this stamp was a scrapbook.com exclusive release, and hopefully you were one of the lucky ones who got it, because it is really cute. But it is not available anymore. It is a limited edition, and I stamp it on that frame, cut that frame down to the size needed, and put it on the back of the card. And here's our beautiful zigzag fun fold card in both color patterns. I hope you had fun watching. I used the decorative sentiment dies from Emily Moore Designs, the For You word dies, the nested ornament dies, as well as the card sentiment dice set, all available on our webpage. Thanks for watching.